in a lot of the systems that we've been in. So that's a big piece of humility, is when we really respect that we're broken people, and I'm not more or less broken than the next person. The thing that we all have in common is that we're all broken, and we all have a deep desire to be loved and to love, and that's our common denominator, and that's really scary. If there's one thing that's been kind of an uphill battle on really infusing some of these ideas into the systems that I've lived in for lots of years before the refuge, is that people don't really want to embrace their brokenness and really like the us and them. The us and them is really nice in some ways.
I see. And what you mean by the us and them is that if you're at a church, then you think, well, we have answers and we have good things, and we should really do something to help those people who don't have that. Those people who are needy. You know, it's interesting. I had a friend of mine say this week, he was at some church leader conference, and he said, you know, I heard this church pastor saying, talking continually about all the work that they want to do with single moms. And he said, it kind of made me feel like if I was a single mom and heard about like all the help that we need to provide for single moms, it would make me feel pretty bad about being a single mom. Like from that guy's perspective, the pastor, he was trying to say, we should help these people who are in need. But what it translated into was, well, there's people who have needs, and then there's people who have solutions. And we're on the solution side, and we should give to those who are on the need side. And it sounds like that's what you're getting after, saying humility says, hey, we're all in this together. And I have needs and you have needs, and I'm going to help you where I can help you, and you can help me. So we're actually going to live in relationship that's true humility, as opposed to a service provider to a client kind of condition.
Exactly. And that's where, like, missional, the word missional, you know, and I use it here and there. It's not that I don't use it, but I have sometimes a little adverse reaction to it, because so much of it's just gotten misused. It really is that kind of the difference, and this is in Down We Go, and these are from my friends at Center for Transforming Mission, kind of have a whole piece about this, these 3 prepositions, and that there's 2 relationships and 4 relationships and with relationships. And the truth is, most quote-unquote missional ministry has been about doing things to people or for people. And both of those prepositions really keep us safe and protected. And I'll admit, I like those ways better, too. They're easier because they're one way. They kind of, you know, someone coming from on high, coming down to help.
Yes.
Versus with that really I think Jesus embodied, and I think calls us to, too, that really requires something of us. You know, when Jesus had the disciples wash his feet, there's something to that. He didn't just wash their feet. He had them wash his feet. And that none of us really like to get our feet washed. It's a lot easier to wash somebody else's feet. So that's, you know, that whole us and them and a theology of brokenness and an attitude of humility are really central. And everything inside of, you know, my humanity, I think lots of people, when they're honest, humanity is, I don't want to do that. And I don't really want to do that, but I think that that's what Jesus kind of said about a lot of things. I know you won't want to do that, but it's better in the end.
Well, that's Kathy Escobar. She's going to be sticking around with us here over the break, and she'll be back. We'll talk a little bit more about her book called Down We Go, Living into the Wild Ways of Jesus. Stick around with us through the break here, and we'll chat with Kathy about what the Beatitudes, the blessed are those, could mean for those of us who want to connect with those who are like us and dissimilar to us. Here after the break on KTNF AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.